Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first Cardfight on Aqua 193 channel. Woo! Finally, after BYOND broke down, didn't work anymore, I finally was able to find another free PC game for Vanguard. Started playing it a couple of days ago, and I've made a couple of decks, played with Sep mostly, with a few other randoms, and I made this really fun deck yesterday that I wanted to try out. Haven't been able to play against Sep with it, but I'm going to do that tonight, and hopefully win with him, because he's 3-1 against me. But the thing is, I would have been at least 3-2 when I was facing him with my Kagero. I had Dauntless Drive Dragon ready for next turn, and then for the turn after, Dragonic over the end with 2 more of the ends in my hand, and I already had 4 Counterblasts ready to go. So I would have had 4 attacks with my Vanguard, which means 6 Twin Drive. So, you know, if it would have gotten my criticals back then, but you get disconnected, so we didn't count that, unfortunately. Anyway, I'm gonna try out this recording for Vanguard. You can save replays, so I'm gonna do that. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about the black bars at the side. I do in Camtasia make it full screen to go to the side to make for no black bars, but unfortunately I cannot for some reason do it as I did it before, either I've forgotten this thing of how Camtasia works properly with the screen, or I'm just doing something else wrong, but I can't seem to get a custom thing that I could just make it less wide. Like, as soon as I make it less wide, I also make it less high, so then, like, I can take out the black bars, but then it cuts off here, or something. And I want you to be able to see both my hand and my opponent's. Because in the replay, you do also see what your opponent has in their hand. So, time for a replay. I called this Etranger Victory. I'm gonna try a 1.5 speed, although it does do points. Yay! I just tried it a moment ago and it didn't work. 1,5 or 1.5. I'm gonna guess it's 1.5 because it's American. So I'm gonna try it at 1.5 speed. I'm gonna do a narration. You tell me what you think of the speed and my narration, and give me tips on how to improve, because every now and then I will have a Cardfight Vanguard replay narrated for you guys. Right, let's go. So my opponent's playing Neo Nectars, starting off with Turnip Musketeer Kira. I, on the other hand, am playing Aqua Force, or although a very twisted kind of Aqua Force, and I decided the Aqua with Draco Kid is the best starting Vanguard for that. There's only one Aqua Force in my hand. This is Etrangers with Aqua Force. I wanted to use the Etrangers, but at the same time, I wanted to use 16 critical triggers. I don't have any heal triggers in this deck, actually. I wanted to use lots of Etrangers, all the ones that looked strange. I have both the great ones in there, both Line and Tethys, because I wanted the great ones and it works as at the Kororo Azel. But I have a lot of weird things, and then a few Aqua Forces to fill it up, and all the critical triggers, all Aqua Force, because that's one of the... Well, because of Tethys, I thought of Aqua Force, because it's also treated as Aqua Force. And Aqua Force has 4 cards that can be crit triggers, so that means 16 crit triggers. I start off my game, I ride Queen Lane, and then move my dragon to the back. That's actually not possible, because Queen Lane is an Etranger and not an Aqua Force. But seeing as Queen Lane and Tethys have the exact same effect, the exact same power and anything, I would have just rode Tethys instead of Lane, and then next turn I'm going to put Tethys behind my Vanguard. I would have done that with Lane instead, so in the end it doesn't matter. My opponent didn't notice that at the time. I did notice it, but that was only when the opponent's turn was up. Opponent attacks me, gets a draw trigger, so... Okay, I get a crit trigger. Unfortunately, in that sense, it doesn't matter. A heal trigger wouldn't have helped here either, because at the time I would apply the effect. There was no damage to heal, even though we had equal... I would have more damage because the heal trigger does count towards the amount of damage. I can't heal it because it's still in the trigger check zone. Anyway, I ride Legendary Star Daigo, because Daigo's out here. My opponent goes WTF. There's a lot more coming. I have another Daigo. I play my Theo to attack as just a strong, basic, generic, great one. Um, the Aqua Force. Tethys behind my Vanguard. Time for some attacks. Now, I'm uncertain why my opponent guards the first attack. I'm attacking with Theo first, because if the opponent gets any trigger, Theo can't touch anything. So I attack with Theo first. The opponent guards it for some reason, I don't know why. Because usually at the beginning you don't really want to guard anyway. Like, if you want to, sure. I've had one case where I didn't want to do that at the beginning. But why guard that one if you're not going to guard the one after, maybe? And I'm not really sure, because if you get it, if you do it, and then if you do let it go, and then you get a trigger, and then you can shield the other attacks easier. So, okay. I get a crit trigger, power to the second Dago, crit on the Vanguard. But got 2 times Ruth, no triggers there. I just attack, opponent guards it with a draw trigger and a crit trigger. So, a good amount of guards already used. Opponent at 2 damage. I have a good field. I feel pretty good, but opponent's not even at grade 2 yet, so I don't really know what to expect. Obviously playing a good amount of musketeers, because there's a good amount of skills in there, like August, and you'll see a good amount of monsters. What's that called in Vanguard again? Pretty sure it's still monsters. Units, just call it units. So Mirka comes out. There's 2 perfect guards in the hand, but once I guess the opponent could have called one more, because with 1 drive check you would have still had 2 things to use with perfect guard. But then again, this grade 3 was the only grade 3 they had at the time, so they wanted to be sure to keep that. The attack comes in. I'm not gonna guard. I don't mind it. I actually want the damage so that I can use the counterblast of a certain other card next turn. So let's do this. My turn. Stando on the Dora. Raido! Spider-Man! Da-da-da! 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 Come on. I'll go play Spider-Man. Yeah. Then when Spider-Man's placed on a Vanguard circle, I can pay the cost, which is Counterblast 2, and then choose an opponent's grade 2 or less rear guard and retire it. So with that, Mirka is out of there. I could have also used the Red Power Ranger as my Vanguard, but, you know, their limit break is the exact same, and the second effect for Fire Leon only works as rear guard, and for Spider-Man only as Vanguard, so I did it in this order. I did it in this location. Now, I have a good field, and the opponent only has 1 card, doesn't have too many good things, so let's just attack. I attack with Daigo. Opponent lets it go here, so that I'd say that was a smart move. Unfortunately for them, there's no trigger, so now it's Spider-Man's turn to attack. Will the opponent guard? No. I unfortunately do not get critical triggers. I have 16 critical triggers. As I said, double critical trigger would have sealed the game here unless there's a heal trigger. Didn't get any, so only 4 damage for the opponent. Theo boosts. Fire Leon attacks. Once again, no guard. So the opponent is at 5 damage now, but still has 2 perfect guards in their hand. Draws into a critical trigger, which is unfortunate for them. It's a 10,000 shield that you can use, but you just don't want to draw into them. You want to drive check into them. And the opponent has more damage, and field and hand advantage-wise doesn't exactly have the advantage. Now, here comes Cecilia's effect, which will be used a couple of times. You can check the top 5 cards and call 1 Musketeer to the rear guard, which is Sylvia. And when Sylvia is placed on Vanguard or rear guard circle, the top card of the deck can be revealed. And if that's a Musketeer, superior call. So there's a Musketeer. It's a critical trigger. August comes out, so the opponent actually has 3 attacks now. Uses August, has a Vanguard with Musketeer in the name, so that is at 12,000. Attacks Doug. I'm like, oh, I have a replacement for Doug. I have Kuroro Dark, but Kuroro Dark has less attack than Daigo, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna guard with Dark, keep Daigo. I'm still at 2 damage at this point. The opponent, I didn't know of any of the perfect guards in their hand, I do believe. So, but even when I would have known, I'm still at very much of an advantage. Card advantage-wise, damage-wise, I definitely have the advantage here. So I'm not sure why the opponent doesn't attack my Vanguard. Probably they know they can stop some attacks, but not all. So they want to get rid of my rear guards to hopefully not have a lot of attacks. They get a critical trigger, and now they still attack my rear guard. I would have thought, you know, you have a critical trigger, you can at least attack the Vanguard now. But no, they really wanted to take care of my rear guard, so okay, take care of my rear guard. Now I have a pretty good draw here when I stando ando toro. I draw in two. Pretty sure I draw into the Power Ranger. Yep, Power Ranger. So I can just place Power Ranger above my Draco Kid over here, and then place Tethys with Theo. I place Tethys first. Can be taken out easier, but I don't mind if she's taken out. I'll probably draw or drive check into another grade 2 or 3 later. She can be taken out easier, but I really don't care if she's taken out. I would prefer her to be taken out than Theo, so... Alright. Once again, 3 attacks. Opponent 5 damage. Let's see what happens. I attack, and the opponent uses a Chestnut Bullet. I really like that card. A lot of the Neo Nectar cards, I really like their artwork. Chestnut. Those Pawn Knight or something. It's like the basic grade 0, 6,000 attack. Too bad it's just not a really good starting Vanguard or anything. Yeah, I attack with Spider-Man. A perfect guard does come in at this point, I do believe. I don't know why the opponent would discard that as opposed to the other card. Unless they do intend to use the other... No, are they going to use the other perfect guard here? Pretty sure they are. No, they had the intercept. So why the opponent did not get use the grade 2 as the discard fodder, I don't know. If they wanted to place it again, which I don't think actually happens in the next turn, they didn't place it on the field. They didn't call it, so why not use that? Because if they would have used this grade 2 as a discard fodder for the perfect guard, as opposed to their critical trigger with 10,000 shield, that would have saved them 5,000 shield to be able to use for later. So Cecilia's effect comes in. The limit break. Counterblast 1, choose 5 normal units with Musketeer in their name from the drop zone, put them on bottom of deck in any order, and they can call 2 of the same name, Sue of Cecilia, to rearguard. With normal units, I'm not really sure what that means. I'm going to assume that means non-trigger. I can't think of anything else that would make something not a normal unit. Okay, 2 Cecilias come out, so the Vanguard then uses the other skill, get rid of a Cecilia, check the top 5 cards for a Musketeer, finds that grade 2, again, which is Pansy Musketeer Sylvia. It's placed in rearguard, so the top card of the deck is checked. If it's a Musketeer, it can be called the rearguard circle. But there's a good amount of Musketeers in the deck. There's not all Musketeers, though. And 4 Clover Fairy, draw trigger, is not a Musketeer, so no extra card. So the opponent lost 3,000 attack there. Unfortunate for them. However, they probably intended to take out my Tethys. Anyway, so Tethys out. Now my Vanguard is being attacked. I'm like, even double critical trigger doesn't take me out. I'm going to let it go. No guard. Opponent does get a heal trigger, which is very nice for them. Power, obviously, to rear guard. Heals the damage. I don't mind. A perfect guard comes in. I know by this point they have 1 perfect guard because I never knew about the other. I damage check. Get a nice critical trigger. Give the power to Spider-Man. Fire Leon is attacked. I really do not mind. I'm just going to let it go because I have replacements anyway. Like, if grade 3s are taken out and I have a new grade 3 in my hand, I can just replace it. I really don't mind if they're attacked. If it's a grade 2, I can still use them for intercepts while they're on the field. Grade 3s are just there for attacking. So, but I really didn't mind much that my rear guards were taken out because I always had replacements. Only the time when I had both Tethys and Theo over here, I didn't have a proper replacement. But it worked out fine in the end. So, Kuroro Azel, very fun. I really like Blonde Azel. Now, Kuroro is just a fun little card to use. This is not the best deck, but it's a really fun deck to use. I'm really looking forward to playing it against Seb. I'm thinking of if I can get the Skype recorder to work, we can just do a double live narration together with Seb, and I can upload that if you're looking forward to that. So Spider-Man attacks, perfect guard comes in, Draw trigger is used as fodder. I get crit trigger. Get critical trigger double. So crit 3, 20,000 on Kuro. Go in. There's another perfect guard, obviously being used at this point because otherwise the opponent's done for. Is used. Thing is, why again discard the 10,000 shield as opposed to the 5,000 shield? The opponent never calls that. The opponent never calls that unit, so I'm not sure why the opponent keeps a grade 2 in the hand with 5,000 shield as opposed to something that's a 10,000 shield like the crit or heal trigger. The opponent uses Cecilia's effect skill once again, checking the top 5 cards, looking for a musketeer, and once again there's Sylvia's. That has to be 4 Sylvia's in the deck because there's like a combo with Cecilia. Sylvia probably that's the main one of the main combos in the deck. Sylvia checks the top card. Once again, it's not a musketeer. It's Maiden of Blossom Rain, the perfect guard of the Neo-Nectars. Unfortunately, the opponent lost out a bit there. Dandelion Musketeer Mirka does come out, but I have 5 cards to guard and only 3 damage. I don't mind. I'm like, I can take this, but I'm like, no. I'm going to guard this, meaning, because I didn't plan to guard the Vanguard attack, and I'm like, I've seen heal triggers now. I've seen draw triggers. I did see 1 chestnut bullet, I believe. So I don't think they have that many crit triggers, so the chance of double crit on the opponent is really, really low. So I decided to just let this attack go. To have, in my eyes, the best chance of victory. Decided to let it go. I really don't mind. Opponent does drive trigger to a heal trigger, not a crit trigger, so I'm safe there. Heal trigger, no trigger. So I took 1 damage. Spider-Man. Doesn't matter. Opponent comes in with an X attack. I have 4 crit triggers in my hand, all 10,000 shield, so shield-wise, I really don't have any issues. And I still have my Black Daigo and the front row rear guard, so Black Daigo can still intercept. My turn, get a Black Daigo. I don't intend to replace anything. I'll just keep Black Daigo in my hand, either for replacement or just for shield. I attack the Vanguard. Opponent's gonna let it through, I do believe, to check for the trigger now. No, intercept now. I'm like, if you know you can't guard against everything, let the first attack go if you don't have 6 damage yet. Because if the opponent would have damage decked into a trigger, then even if it's not a heal trigger, if the opponent checks into a trigger, then shielding the rest of the attack is easier. Opponent lets the attack from the Vanguard go, taking 1 damage, but no, I get a crit trigger. It's going to be 2 damage. It's going to be game over. Crit to Spider-Man. And Etrangers win. So Daigo, Spider-Man, Azel. Good job. Daigo's a cool guy. There's a cool band. Breakers does the voice for Daigo in the anime. It's pretty much a character based on him. Like the crazy guy that he is also in the Cardfight Vanguard, the movie. Like the real life movie. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, there's a little dispute here in the Yu-Gi-Oh terms, in the card fight, about being able to use a Aqua Force crit trigger on an Etranger Vanguard, but all you need, as far as I know, for triggers to be able to activate is any units on your side of the field that is of the same clan as that trigger. Now, Mothership Intelligence is Aqua Force, Draco Kid is Aqua Force, Theo is Aqua Force, Tethys is treated as Aqua Force. I have 3 Aqua Forces, so I can activate it just fine. I can use it on anything as long as I have at least 1 Aqua Force on the field. And with Draco Kid, seeing as there's no Aqua Force that doesn't need an Aqua Force Vanguard to like use the effects, I'll always have Draco Kid in the rear guard normally, so my crit triggers will just work fine. Yeah, I win. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to use this against Seb. Let me know if you enjoyed this card fight. What kind of decks you'd like to see next time, I suppose, if you enjoy it. I have a few. I have 2 different Kagero decks. A normal one, I suppose, with Dauntless Drive and Dragonic Over at the end. I have a Gold Paladin deck. I have my Neo-Nectar deck, which is so far the only one I've won against Seb with. Gold Paladin. And then my Oracle Think Tank deck that focuses on getting Mega Blast. All 8 grade 3s have Mega Blast abilities. So that's, I suppose, my favorite deck in a way, but this deck is also my favorite. I'm definitely going to be using it more. I was just lucky, I suppose, that I got a good amount of crit triggers when I needed them as well. well, not necessarily needed them, but in useful situations during drive checks. Double crit trigger earlier was really cool. The opponent just had a perfect guard to stop it. Otherwise, that would have just been and defeat. Yeah, let me know what you think. I'm gonna try to see if I still know how the Skype recorder works. See if Seb will be okay with doing a double narration. And if you like it, then I'll just record another replay later on. Also, please let me know what you think of the speed of the game. Before this, I actually checked it at 2 times speed, which I personally, for the narration, was a little too fast. So I think I'm just going to keep it at 1.5, just like with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels. So, I'm going to see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed.